Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, I tell you, I am speechless at what has happened today on Capitol Hill. Yes, I'm talking about the Trump supporters I'm talking about Trump's mob. That's what they are. Let's face it. If these would have been black people, they would have said mob instead of protesters. So I'm going to say Trump's mob that went to Capitol Hill, vandalized, took over the Capitol Hill. I mean, just tore windows, crawled walls like monkeys. It was deplorable. It was awful. And people all over the world are talking about what has happened in America. America the beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, this was a mess, and it was incited by the chief of state, Trump. Yep. He incited this mob to go to Capitol and just vandalize, bombarded. It was unbelievable just to watch it. And for what? For what? It didn't overturn the election. Biden is getting certified as we speak right now to be the next president of the United States. What was Trump thinking? Does he think, and he's sitting somewhere, knowing his demeanor, he's sitting somewhere laughing, see what I made them do, see what I got them to do, you know? But what does that tell us? That tells us that if we had any doubt that this man doesn't need to be in office, we are certainly we know now that he shouldn't have been in office, and he's got to get out of there. Yeah. This what happened today. I don't think they should even give him, he just has a couple of weeks left. I don't even think it's safe to give him that. I know they did have to transfer powers to Pence today to get everything lined up for the certification of Congress, of the Electoral College, to certify the votes. So, Pence had to overstep him and act in presidential powers to do this, which, Trump is calling Pence all kind of names right now. Twitter had to cut off his account because of the outrageous and violence and fictitious things that he has been saying ever since he's been in office. Fake news, as he calls it. And all the fellow Republicans who were once by his side, like Christie and all of the rest of them, now they're even going against him, saying that, mostly all the Republicans are saying that they're just saying that they don't tolerate this. And actually, a woman has died. She was one of the mobsters that came up on Capitol Hill to take over. And she was actually in the Capitol and was shot in the neck. And she has died, of this senseless riot. That's what it was. Let's call it like it is. This senseless riot. And most of the people that was there, they didn't know their up from their down. I mean, let's face it, guys. I mean, Anybody that will follow this man, which they have said there is no signs of any wrongdoing of voter fraud. And he keeps saying, he said this before the election, that they were going to get his votes, and they were going to. So he's put this in these people's mind who don't have a mind. Because anybody that follows Donald Trump, they don't have a mind. This man is senile. And, this man, from the get-go, they let him do everything. Say anything, do everything, and nothing was said. Until now, until all that he has brought all this violence to the table and corruption. And now, they're saying, some are saying that they may bring charges against him. They might bring impeachment orders against him, even with these 2 weeks that he has left. But I agree. They need to do something. And those mobsters, that mob, those rioters needs to be. They need to be punished. Oh yes, destroying state property. The government property, and storming in. Oh, yes. And some of them even took pictures, had stormed in and got in Nancy Pelosi's office, and he had his feet on the table and taking pictures in the. So I think they should use these pictures and to prosecute these people. And to prosecute the president of the United States. Yeah. It is a mess. I never seen. This was awful, guys. And like I said, Trump incited a riot. Yes, he did. And what good did it do? And then you got to see. Come on, guys, if this was blacks rushing the Capitol like this, they would have used excessive force. Are we talking about they would have shot? They would have had bodies everywhere because they wouldn't have cared. And when the Black Lives Matter protest, Trump called the Black Lives Matter people everything but a child of God. They were rioters. They was gangsters. They was this. And he deplored them. And now here he goes and silent, right? Doesn't say anything. And they said, it took all of the Republicans that he would listen to just come out. They was telling him, come out and tell them to go home. Tell them not to do this. He took his time, and then he still had shit to say. I know you're mad. They took this election. It's still inciting falsehoods, fake news. But like I said, what did it prosper them? We are not a overseas country where they overturn elections by rioting. And no, that's not how democracy works in America. Each person is entitled to vote for who they want. And the one who gets the most votes, guys, they win. And this last election between him and Hillary, they have found out that he had some help from Russia. But, uh, no one orchestrated a riot. I mean, they just took the results and went on. But this is crazy. This is crazy. But I'm going to see how they handle this. Are these people going to be? And they should be on alert now. Now, they say that this caught them off guard, which I'm sure it did. But I don't think it's over. I don't think, because they have, I mean, as we speak, that mob is still out there. The National Guard is there. But they told them that they needed to leave. They had an hour to leave or they were going to be arrested. They are still there, picking at the National Guard, saying things, taking pictures, and nothing has been done. I mean, nothing has been done. And they're just the National Guard is just there. But let's bring it back to the 50s. Let's bring it back. Let's roll time back in the 50s where these students was trying to integrate a white school. Let's take it back. They had to go through this mob. And, they didn't, the National Guard didn't protect them. I mean, it's crazy. And let's go back where we were fighting for our rights. Just to have the same right as our white brothers and sisters. And peaceful. I'm talking about peaceful protests. Now, if they would have just stood outside the Capitol and just with their signs or whatever, I couldn't say anything. And that's peaceful. But they did all of this violence. And just remember in 63, where blacks was just trying to get the same privileges as white people. And these were students who the black schools let them out so they could go demonstrate peaceful protests. And they had German shepherds waiting on them and sicked them on these children. These were babies. And also, turned on the fire hose on them, which you have no idea how painful that is. I met a girl who was in that when she was 13. She was in that protest, and she said that force was so forceful and it took her hair out, so to speak. It took her hair out and it blew her down. That force of water was so, and the dogs, and took them to jail. Now, we're talking about babies. We're talking about preteens and teenagers. And when America saw that on TV, they were just as appalled as I was today. No. I mean, what did they think they were going to accomplish? All of this, them taking over, made them look like fools. And what did they think? Oh, we're scared. We're going to overturn the election. With Trump, you can have it. No. That let them know more than ever, we got to get this nut out of office. But now, in 2 weeks, Biden's going to come in there. It's going to be a different scene. And in case you haven't heard, the Democrats have control of the House once again. So, Mitch, and I've got to say it for Mitch, he did turn on Trump. He did say, hey, I'm not going to be with this fool, and I'm going to, and he did. He really spoke out against Trump and these this mob on today. But and I don't think anybody thought of this. I mean, and then none of them were wearing masks. I mean, they didn't have sense enough to wear a mask. And I guess they're still, listening to Trump, who has even caught COVID-19 because he didn't wear a mask. And they're still not wearing a mask. So, it's like a big COVID party. Let's see how many of them be sick in the next week or two. And then, not only that, they done brought their stinking nasty ass in the, excuse me, in the Capitol. And who knows if some of them already got COVID. I mean, and has been in those people's office and everything. The Capitol needs a complete disinfected now. I know that they got to go in there back in recess. They got to go back in the session to certify Biden in, but I don't know if they thought about that. But that's something to think about as well. But the majority does rule. All right, guys. I'm going to ask you this. What do you think about what happened today? And like I said, I don't think they're finished. But I think the National Guard and whoever else they have to call, they need to be ready. Because, Trump niece has already warned us about how nutty Trump is, and that he's senile, and that he has a mental condition. And she said, you haven't seen anything yet. She said this a month ago. And look what he did. I think the sooner the better. I think his act today, he needs to be held accountable. And he needs to be taken out the White House immediately. What do y'all think? I would love to hear. And I don't think anybody thought of this. Just press that comment button, and none of them about it. All right, guys. Wearing masks. Thank you so much for watching my video. They didn't have sense enough. I hope that you will like, share, to wear a mask, and subscribe to my channel. Still, and it's always important. Be blessed, y'all. Listening to Trump, who has